time, I'm doing a Liael video. Long story short, Liael is not the only Liael. There's actually another Liael as a destined one, and we're going to talk about her today. Anime spoilers or whatever. Dude, all I'm saying is we're probably going to have part 2 of this video in about a week. But I do suppose that today is next week now, isn't it? Well, guess I gotta find the same music I used last time. So as promised, we got a couple new reveals today. Just 3 new support cards, 2 that are in the anime, 1 that wasn't, so it's probably really good. And even though I'm recording this when it's almost nighttime, I'm still going into this pretty much blind because I've had a pretty busy day. So hopefully we should get some good reactions off this. They also finished revealing the Haru deck, and you guys already know exactly how I feel about Magia. Especially this part right here. Hillman Girls Best Girls. Luna's best lesbian daughter. But since I haven't really covered anything yet, we're just gonna go ahead and make the entire Haru deck its own video. So make sure you subscribe to see I go live. Anyways, you already know what I'm about to say. Let's go ahead and dive on into Bushiroad's official Twitter, because thank you for announcing them on the official one so I don't have to just dig through other people's translations. Starting things off with this little grade 1, we got the Swordsman of Twinstants. Stance. What even is a stant? Istear, who has 1 simple ability in that back row rearguard circle. When a rearguard in the same column as this unit is bound from the ability of a grade 3 or greater with Liael in the name, stay on this unit. So, pretty basic. I love the fact that this thing has no cost. Well, it has a cost, but it's basically activate Liael's ability. And that is fantastic because one of the disadvantages that Liael's had so far, I've been trying to toy around a little bit with making bigger numbers on the first attacks, is that because of the way the deck functions, how you're able to essentially call out multiple attacks, and a lot of you guys can be gaining power once things are bound or whatever, your burst wave attacks are pretty weak and usually need to be boosted. However, to maximize numbers, you usually want to save your booster for later, or after trigger checks and all that defensive stuff, so having a restanding booster is fantastic. This means that you can now boost your first attack and not care about the fact that you wasted a resource because it just comes back for free for literally activating your skill. Solid? Honestly, we can stop reading right here. This is all Liael needed, was a way to just make numbers matter. But we're only 1/3 of the way done, so. As a number 2 card, we're going for the grade 2 that was revealed during the anime and got little title card end card thing. And that is the Sequence Wizard, whose name makes me think that it belongs in Hexorb. This guy's got 2 little skills. First of all, when it's placed on rearguard during a main phase, if you have a grade 3 Liael, counterblast 1, check your top 5, grab a grade 3 or less among them, call it, and shuffle your deck. Okay, really good. Was that counterblast 1? Yeah, counterblast 1. So Liael, unfortunately, is pretty much a counterblast heavy deck since her main ability does cost 1 CB and you're gonna want to be doing all sorts of other shenanigans with it. Fortunately, they do have a dedicated countercharger and a good little doggo, and you could always run like Versado if you have the G3 space. So counterblast is an issue, not an issue for the decks, but right here is a CB1 to basically check top 5 and call a card. In other words, a grade 2 version of the kitty cat. Then for starter skill, when another unit is bound by your Vanguard's ability, this is going to get +5, and at the end of turn, you may soul charge 1. Okay, these. Once again with the soul thing, Liael also is pretty soul blast heavy, not for herself, but for other abilities that combo with it, like the main grade 1 booster and Iridus. So soul is pretty precious in the build, which means soul charge 1 is great. And this of course harkens back to its Dark State half, because everyone knows that soul based abilities are Dark State based. The +5 is kind of mid, but kind of good. Like I said, a lot of things in Liael will be getting extra power after cards are bound, so that's pretty on key. However, like I said with the last card, one of the biggest issues with the deck is just hitting larger numbers earlier on, and this doesn't really do anything for it. It just gives you another stage of guard, I guess. So I guess we'll see. Like this come out, the last card we saw is going to give you a 23k column for the restand, but that's just still a trigger from hand to guard, so it's good. But we have deck space rates. I'm trying to think what we could take out for deck space for this guy that isn't a cute tech or an absolute staple. Yeah, I guess we don't run that engine right now. Little spoilers to whenever I do my next Liael video. I am using their order that lets you bind cards in order to kind of turbo out your Liael binds. So if you don't do that defensive option and care more about your board presence than you do about control matchups or whatever, I could see that being the swap right there. There are options. There are definitely options. Alright, time for the big reveal. This is something that was not featured in the anime episode, which of course means that it's going to be broken. We have, oh, she's kind of cute, the Knight of Piercing Skies, Pernacetra, which, oh, I love this name already. I like the fact that if you break it down a little bit and mix up a little bit, it's permanent, etc. This goes on forever and ever and ever and ever because, you know, time travel deck. Alright, what does this Troll Knight do? We got 2 skills here. Let's read the second one first, because I feel like reading the second one first. When you're grade 3 or greater with Liael in this name is placed, you can Energy Blast 3 and bind this unit to draw a card. So a couple things that we want to, zoom in just a little bit. A couple things that I want to say about this right here. First of all, Energy Blast 3 as a cost. Liael currently does nothing with energy. I'm talking, this is one of those decks where you literally just say every 3 turns I'm going to draw a card. It's perfectly timed with the fact that as soon as you're riding grade 3, you should have the gases if you went second. So my typical turn 3 play is literally just ride, draw card off ride line, draw card off 7 energy, hope that you get something good. That said, because of that, you do have a lot of room for tech options. This is one of the reasons that I hate that new Keter stuff is expensive, because I do not currently own any Biscottis or what's the name, the discard dragon guy that came out of Festival Collection, whatever his name is. So if you want to help support me on this channel so I can afford those kind of cards to test out in real life and not just in proxy form or Cardfight area, whatever, make sure to check out my page on TCG Player where I sell my own card game stuff. Or if you don't want to do that, I have a Ko-Fi now, so if you like what I do, want to give me a tip, it goes back towards the channel to help me do more awesome card gaming coaster stuff. The little bar there is like Ko-Fi/Rayon Skyridge. It's in the little description below. But yeah, energy cost there is fantastic. I was literally about to make a short running this for my next tournament, so look forward to that. Probably went live, honestly, before this because shorts versus editing videos. It's literally just a 15-15 that costs 3 energy, because why not? That'll help with the aggro and defensiveness a little bit. But what we do for that cost? So you do bind herself, which speeds up the deck a little bit because you want cards in your bind zone. And you draw a card, which also speeds up the deck a bit because you want to draw cards. Right now, I'm experimenting a lot more with draws and front triggers as my other trigger of choice. Simply because Liael doesn't really triple drive, and you want to make sure you fish for those other copies of your main grade 3. That's like such a central piece of your puzzle. Okay, so that second effect essentially means that for half the cost of your normal Energy Blast draw card, you're able to draw a card and bind a card. Not bad. The only real criticism I have there is it says when Vanguard is placed, so you're either going to be doing this off a Persona Ride turn or your one-time only to bind skill. So keep that in mind. Just pay attention to how you're doing stuff. But since that's her second skill, let's go ahead and look at the first, which is probably going to be her main important skill. And that is, during your turn, if your bind zone has a card with the same name as her, it's going to get +5. Okay. Actually, yeah, that's good. This gives you some early game aggression if you think about it that way, because this is one of those cards that you just feel turn 2 and not really care about it, because as soon as you ride into your grade 3, you're going to be able to use her Energy Blast to draw a card and bind herself. Then as soon as she's ready, you already have one ready, you can just play one. It's going to be another +5k swing or so. Starts off at 15. Unfortunately, the bind skill only activates when you're using her own effect, so you can't just say activate Liael's skill, bind her, and just go ahead, just draw a card. But, I mean, that's what Iridus is for, just to bind and draw. It just costs a Soul Blast instead of Energy Blast 3, which is a little bit more consistent. That said, we do have a cute little Eternalite here, and we probably find River in the deck. Like, I do want to do a test proxy build soon. But unfortunately, that's all that we got for today. Like I said, we are going to save the other announcements for another video because I just want to do all the Hari stuff at the same time. So, Pale Moon and Angel Feather Gear Chronicle, both of those technically do count for the Gear Moon Circus. What do you guys think? Are these 3 cards actually the sauce that Liael needed in order to gain more power and have a better early game? Does the Eternalite drawing plus the Swordsman drawing basically give you enough draw power to not run draw triggers and hope that you draw into your Liaels correctly? Is the Funny Wizard worth the counter blast to continuously thin your deck? I mean, yeah, that one's obvious, but what's our lineup going to look like? Make sure to comment down below, and while you're down there, click the little subscribe button if you haven't already. We're so close to 250, which is like halfway to YouTube sponsorship. So if you like what I do here, you know what to do. But until next time, thank you guys for watching. We'll have more Liael stuff coming, hopefully in the future. I wonder if I can find another Liael player and just do like a mirror match, light versus dark, to show off what actually happened in the anime. But until then, always embrace the infinite.